to win that team fight.
Once I saw the build, I was way more sold on the composition as well, because looking at the draft when we went through it, I was convinced that they were, oh my god, we have to somehow do something. And in a bit of a Hail Mary, an early one, already throwing out that kidnap combo attempt. So the build there was a very good adjustment, and I really, really like that they went that way.
Where are we going next is the question, and who gets the pick? Dignitas will pick Volskaya Foundry for game number 3.
Volskaya, an interesting one. I think a lot of Western teams are underestimating Korean teams on this battleground just simply because, you know, again, this battleground was played less than 5 times in the region leading into this tournament, but they've brought Korea teams to this battleground so many times now that you can bet they're familiar.
Well,
Blaze gets banned here for Tempest after all those plays and how much he's been impactful. They're taking it away.
Game number 3, and at the moment, if you can hear that in the background, Sweden is very much on the side of Team Dignitas. Tracer is going to go away, and we're in the 3rd draft of the series.
I also want to just quickly, as we have Malfurion coming in for the first pick, say one more thing about the last game. I really liked how Dignitas closed the game out, because Tempest seemed stunned after that attack, and then Dignitas just kept pushing and never let on the pressure. And I think that's exactly what they need to do here. Have the confidence and just know how to keep that pressure on so that Tempest cracks. And if they can translate that now into this game, I think they can really walk away with a massive, massive lead.
What I really enjoy about this battleground too is I feel like it really plays into what region as a whole, or as EU as a whole, plays when it comes to these poke compositions. We're kind of waiting for an opponent where you're trying to wear your opponent down and eventually get to a point where you make a play, especially in the late game. As we're in Korea, it seems like a lot of these compositions that we've seen throughout this tournament has been more explosive. And Volskaya Foundry naturally slows that down a lot with a control point, which gives EU a little bit of a chance here to grab the victory.
I definitely see what you're saying. I feel like it has been Korea, China, and North America that have really played most of the burst, whereas Europe is more willing to stay towards a more traditional, older style of Heroes of the Storm and play what Europe is always known for, macro, longer games, late game decision making. But, you know, I feel like Dignitas, that last game, I was worried too. I saw the Stitches pick and I felt like it's gimmicky. This isn't going to work. This is going to be really risky. And if they lose this game, they lose all momentum in the series as well. We played a trump card, totally bombed. But that's not what happened there.
Can we talk about Genji control? Because Dignitas has banned it twice in each of these games, but now they'll look to seize the opportunity to take it.
Yeah, a big part of that is because now they are first pick. So because in the previous series, they always had coming in a plan, and they just were on the opinion that they couldn't get the early Genji there. I feel it's the same reason why we now see Tempest actually banning out Blaze, because not only is he stronger on Volskaya, but also the first pick, second pick has shifted this time.
We're getting double support too, with a lockdown probably on that Phoenix, which is scary for me. He's had a wonderful Phoenix throughout this entire tournament, and now you have really hard opportunities for Genji to come in and get those kills, especially with Tassadar being there to back it up. This is a really good opening for Tempest.
Do you ban Valor here? Or does it not overlap with this hero?
I don't think it really does overlap. Yeah. You know, you're not really looking at a Tassadar, Malfurion, Phoenix Vala, because you're playing an offlaner Vala that we've seen once before already, but it was just poorly executed, and it's very difficult to actually utilize that, I feel, especially on this battleground. So I think you avoid that. And, you know, people have been critical of Lockdown's Phoenix in the past, but I think in this event, he has really stepped it up. They want to protect here against the Genji dive with the Tassadar, so it's very difficult to dive in and kill that Phoenix. So I actually like the setup that Tempest has now built, and I think that Snitch has, we have to be honest, I think, had a pretty inconsistent performance on Genji. He's had some great moments, he's had some poor moments, and if he ends up diving too deep to try to get that kill on a Phoenix, fails to get it and gets stuck, I think that could be one way Tempest really utilizes this composition to their advantage.
I honestly don't think that we're going to see any of these mistakes today. They thrive in this environment, and with a crowd behind them like that, these guys are pumped right now, and I would be very surprised if we're going to see any of these small mistakes that you just highlighted, because they were definitely there. But I think today, Dignitas, they definitely put on the big boy pants and are going to try and make it reality that they face off against Genji again in the grand final.
You say big boy pants, and I just wonder how many pockets are on a big boy pants. Is it 4, 6? How many pockets does it have?
You should be able to tell me, because you have the weirdest penguin pants in the morning.
Okay, so anyone gets banned now. That's
anyone
awesome.
that knows that, it's
when I was in middle school, I had the cargo pants. They were my big boy pants. There were a lot of pockets.
There are a lot of pockets.
Well, let's see here. The Chromie ban comes out. This is again just saying it's going to be difficult to kill Phoenix with the Genji, right? We have the extra shielding. You respect the Chromie pick to going against Dignitas here. Very strong pick for Poik. Then you say, you know, that could burst through the shields. That can instantly kill Phoenix if there's some trades there. Phoenix gets low. There's a lot of, it's very difficult to counterplay around that, especially if you could predict where Phoenix is going to warp or bait the warp early with the Genji. So they're saying this is no way, this is the one way you can blow Phoenix up. What else, what other heroes are available damage-wise to kill this Phoenix? It's going to be very difficult to draft something that gets an instant blow-up on this hero now for Dignitas. I
mean, besides the blow-up too, Chromie, when she has that slowing sands, it's so difficult for supports to follow that assassin through the slowing sands if they ever get locked down, meaning that you can get in a position where you're out of position, where 3 people are trying to chase a target. So that's been there.
That's the only burst that they have left in the pool, right? And they go all in on it with the Deckard. They're looking for CCs, they're looking for explosive damage here. You can link Deckard and Johanna together. Sleep comes in, Jaina blows somebody up. But will they be able to get close enough to a hero like Phoenix who's just going to be even able to warp out of Herodic Cube slows?
That's one of the reasons why I would really love a Thrall on the back end of that draft now. Because if you combo a lot of what they have in terms of control with an Earthquake as well in those fights, then that would be absolutely monstrous if they can set that off properly.
A blow-up potential. You could make the argument for X-Strike as well. It's been, you know, here 50-50 in this tournament, and it has done a lot of damage.
And you also kind of need it too for the Salvo when it comes out. You'll be able to dodge out on that damage. I think X-Strike is actually one of the main pickups we're going to get for Dignitas.
I mean, with Deckard Cain as the support, I think it's a must pick. I mean, you're not going to get much out of the Dragon Blade here either. To round the composition out now, we need the solo laner here, and it's tough to pick it here. Dignitas has somewhat of an advantage right now because, you know, Tempest isn't going to be able to pick the solo lane matchup. They're actually just going to have to, or Tempest isn't going to be able to, you know, choose an advantageous matchup. We have to go blind, but they steal the Thrall.
Yeah, exactly.
They steal the Thrall, very intelligent.
I mean, to be honest, it was one of those picks where if you see Dignitas composition, it's the first thought that comes to mind. If you drop that Earthquake on top of everything that they have. So Tempest, obviously, looking at it, they know that too. So that had to be on the forefront for them to just think, okay, guys, can we actually allow them to take that hero? And if not, they just take it for themselves. And let's face it, Thrall on this map, in this setup, is never going to be a bad pick.
I mean, Tahaka's up and available, but we've seen Wobby in the past run a Zeratul. What do you think about a Zeratul in this composition?
It can stick to the Phoenix, but again, I think it's the burst protection that Tastar provides and Thrall's potential to grab him with a Spirit Wolf and root him is very risky.
True.
But it can work here. I'm not against it, and it could even set up for potentially some Ring of Frost plays. So I'm not actually against the Zeratul pick here, but it is very risky.
Yes, it's really, really risky. If you go full aggression, I like it, but considering the 1-1 setup that we have on in this match, I don't think you need to risk that just yet.
Find out. What are we getting from Wobby?
I think if we just see something that locks heroes down, Leoric I was going to say, or maybe Sonya, I think is really good to play a safe solo laner where you've got still good wave clears. Zeratul is not as powerful as Leoric in that regard. So you have some lockdown with Entomb. If you could somehow bait out the early warp from Phoenix, you have so much play potential with this pick.
I don't even think you have to go for any of the damage healers in this, or the backline in that sense. If Leoric just gets a good Entomb on Thrall, they can blow him up within seconds thanks to Jaina. And against Muradin, he has the Drain as well, so that gives him some control too.
Yep. All right, let's get with the predictions. Wolf?
I think if it were any other first early DPS for Snitch than the Genji, I could really vote for Dignitas here, but I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to stick with Tempest.
Okay.
I think Muradin will be hard to control, and Lockdown has been incredible on Phoenix, so I'm actually going to go with Tempest on this pick.
Okay.
I think that Tempest has proven in the past that they are a little bit susceptible to pressure. I think after last game, the momentum has swung, and Dignitas therefore is going to take this.
And I will also go with Dignitas. Again, reasons. So let's see what Twitch chat thinks. But things are getting tense here as it's the 1-1 at the moment, and we have 69% for Team Dignitas with 21% over to Tempest. A lot of our Western world currently tuning in to see if Dignitas can move themselves on here. There's been a lot of mid-season magic, and for the Dignitas fans out there, of course, it may occur again. Who knows? Moving through. Let's head over to our commentary team and see what they think about this draft. What do you make of it, guys?
I think both of the drafts are excellent for Volskaya Foundry. A lot of sustain, a lot of poke, and I think it's going to be an amazing game as a result.
I think there's probably 10% more people rooting for Dignitas than we anticipated as it continues to be strong in their favor.
All right, well, bring us game number 3.
Thank you very much. Jay, how do you give either one of these drafts favor? Because I think there is great stuff on either side.
I love the Jaina pickup. We were up here. We always discuss this stuff. I'm like, this has got to be Jaina, right? I mean, it's got to be Jaina. We haven't been able to see it as much. It's not as prominent in the EU region, but we're going to see it here on Volskaya. And Gilly, we're going to have Tempest again here on the left in blue as they're going to try and take the lead once again in this series, as it will be Hyde on Malfurion, Tommy on Phoenix, Lockdown on Tassadar, Sign on Murd, and Good on Thrall. Let's give it up for Tempest.
Their opponents fresh off a win in the last game. It's Snitch playing Genji, JPL on Johanna, Xylia playing Deckard Cain, Poik playing Jaina, and Wubby on his Leoric. Let's hear it for Team Dignitas!
So much, Gilly, comes down to the first protector, and having that sustained healing is very much a thing. And Deckard and Malfurion do that probably better than anybody, but it's a matter of who can get those early game kills. Phoenix Tassadar, we know it's a strong combo, but can that of Dignitas get those blow-up kills with the Genji and the Jaina is going to be the prime question. This game goes on.
And it's really cool to see that Deckard Cain, Xylia, play a different talent at level 1, having field study. We've seen a ton of Sapphire, which is more of enabling your Heraldric Cube to make sure that you get the roots out of Scroll of Sealing. But here having it instead of the field study is going to give you that extra spell power if you land that. And that spell power lasts a long time, which gives you more of the healing off of your healing potion, as well as later on, maybe some more damage with Scroll of Stone Curse, something to that effect.
I think JPL and team might have a different mindset, especially because they have the Johanna. You get the Condemn, which is a mini stun, it pulls people in. You get the slow off of your punish, so definitely a different approach to this, and I think with the Johanna, it's a very good approach, so we'll see how that plays out. With that, a sign coming over. He's like, hey, what are you guys doing over here? Can I come?
Dignitas says no. No, you can't. Sorry. You can have your own, though, which is what Tempest are doing. Very, very important to start stacking up those items, using them for the first control point, making sure that you can get some extra damage done through those turrets too, and even a consideration made toward this top heal pulse.
Yeah, Lockdown's going to sniff it out, and we'll see if we do see any type of contention over this. Dignitas, they're going to hold position for the moment. Sign walking in, Snitch and team, they're going to be here. Roots go down. We'll see if Poik can get in position as the triangle's there, trying to lock everybody down, Gilly.
The warp was used, Dig pylon to the point, which gives Dami a lot of hits with his laser, but unfortunately for Tempest, no dice in taking away that heal pulse, and that gives Dignitas that extra healing to have over that control point.
One of the interesting things, both teams use their turrets there, so we'll see that rotation as the control point goes on, who is able to flex off and get that during that second rotation. That's why these teams get it so early, because when there are those long sustained team fights, you rotate back down, you get that again, you try and finish the job with that. So we'll see how that goes, but a little bit of action here in the middle. JPL gets locked down, uses the Iron Skin to walk away, but we can see that camp. Early pickup here by Dignitas. They're going to have that pushing in the top lane.
Now, we've talked about self-sustain and how important it is over these long, drawn-out control point fights, and we're seeing some talent adaptations as a result. Laws of Hope for JPL, that he can get that extra mana or health regeneration, and then even the health when he uses it. Even Ossian Renewal, which has been a big favorite for a lot of the Eastern team regions for Leoric, but that was picked up through Part 2 in Europe. Over on the other side, though, not getting Kala's Embrace, which is what I would have expected from Tempest, having Kala's Celerity, more of the movement speed that Tassadar can provide instead.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of the shielding, especially against the burst-style damage of a Jaina, making sure that when that shield goes off, you have the armor, but instead, again, that movement speed to try and deal with this, to maybe get through and not get rooted, as we'll see if we can get that set up here. So definitely something to keep an eye on. The good counterplay here when it comes to these, but we're going to see which one holds up the best.
Yeah, I think it's because the Heraldric Cube, it allows for getting away from the Scroll of Sailing that inevitably is going to follow up. Now, Wubby is going to be forced off this point, which it's done, but not before Dignitas claims 65% of the control point. This is a point where Tempest need to start stacking up that percentage, because Team Dignitas, they can heal back up. They're going to have that push that's better in the top lane with their assault camp, and they possibly can go get their turret and then get back into the fight over the control point. This is totally fine for Team Dignitas that they give up some percentages here.
Yeah, they willingly conceded, as we see Snitch up there again. He already was up there, helped clear that up. He's getting an even further push, trying to get some structure damage. Dignitas now sitting on level 7. Again, the turret camps have respawned. Dignitas first to rotate over to get that. So despite giving up some control over this control point, seems like they're finding advantages elsewhere, but it looks like we're going to have another skirmish here on control point.
For Tempest, they want to stay on this point so they can force into overtime in their favor, then put the damage in long enough, forcing Dignitas back off this point. It's not going to be easy, not with that strong double warrior in front, and with Webby getting the Drain Hope there, making them go back. There it is, the overtime has started.
Poik took quite a bit of damage from Sign going in, and Dami takes some damage in return as we see Snitch going in on the Genji, and now did go to overtime, but Dignitas has reclaimed control over this. They're going to hold position. They do get control over that, but now we see Tempest looking to find their way back in, seeing if they can fight as Tempest trying to take down that turret.
Hyde and Lockdown both used a tap. This gives more mana to Hyde for the heals that they're going to need for this final push toward getting the first protector. That was a huge blizzard, but Tempest steps back out of it, regaining this control. Team Dignitas concede the first Triglav protector.
I hope they have something in mind for defense, because, Gilly, this first protector gives you so much of a lead. I mean, the win rate of teams that get this first protector is incredibly high. So far, the defense has actually been good. They've already taken this protector down to around 60%, and it is falling even further. So working out really well in terms of defense, but some structure damage already mounting up.
Not quite getting that second turret is the thorn in Tempest's side. But they'll move up toward the top lane and start working on the next turrets. Two front walls, a well would be glorious. And of course, if you can get it, we've seen that quite a few times, but not with the experience that Dignitas has. Only if you can get 10 along with the protector, perhaps if you got a few kills along with the control point to empower you to have heroic abilities along with your protector. Otherwise, you're just looking at getting some of those towers down and opening up for the next protector. And Dignitas have played this excellently, J-How.
Yeah, they instantly rotated out. The minute they knew that they were going to give that up, we saw Wubby instantly rotate down, start to get a small advantage there. We saw the damage in return by Dignitas. Also, not giving up that well in the top lane is huge for that second control point. So Dignitas very much aware of the situation, and they were able to weather the storm, I'd say, as well as they can. And they also find themselves at 10, fairly even here for both teams. So still anyone's game.
Well, what we could expect from Tempest, and the secondary reason, not only the denial of Thrall from Dignitas, but Tempest getting him themselves, is having Earthquake with the Purification Salvo. This has been a constant throughout the mid-season Brawl as a way to get so much more out of that Purification Salvo, doing a ton of damage to max targets at once and be able to, as a result, claim a control point like that or force people back so that you can do a lot of damage alongside your protector. This is going to see a Water Elemental for Jaina.
See how that plays out. Again, getting the setup is all there on the side of Dignitas. It's a matter of whether they can get that blow up. And there's going to be the Entomb. There's going to be the lockdown. And Poik says, hey, you know what? It's been 7.5 minutes. I think it's time for first blood. Dignitas finding ways. And the thing about that is, Gil, if you look at Water Elemental and Entomb, those are short cooldowns. If you look at the cooldown timers compared to the Earthquake, that is a huge difference.
I thought maybe Good was hoping that he could drop Earthquake, and then Tempest was close enough to rotate in and get counter kills. But Tempest were clear in the top lane. So that's an unfortunate usage of Earthquake. And now no Thrall here. Dignitas wants to get aggressive again, forcing them back, looking toward getting another heal pulse.
Yeah, Hyde had to get out of there. You could see the setup potential was going to be there, but again, not committing a lot. Short cooldowns on the heroics. Bless Shield was used there, but that will be back by the time the next fight comes out. But the control point, or excuse me, the healing pulse is definitely a huge point of contention when we do get to those areas.
Scroll of Ceiling zoning. All about getting set up for the next control point toward the top. Dignitas with a slight experience lead, but it's nothing to sneeze at. Tempest have done a fantastic job weathering the storm despite losing Good. Hyde still considering his heroic ability. Do you have a preference toward Twilight Dream or Tranquility? I thought it would be Trank for the point fights.
I mean, obviously, we're going to see a major amount of burst damage coming out from Dignitas. When it comes from the X-Strike, when it comes from the Jaina damage, it's just a matter of position. It is going to end up being Tranquility. You know, one of the reasons we saw X-Strike start to come back into the meta for Genji was to dodge the Twilight Dream, which was so prominent for a large amount of time. And now I think this is going to be a much better call in the long run.
Well, that Earthquake that was used in the bottom is back now for Good and in good time, because Team Dignitas, on having 13 now, is going to be able to step toward this control point. But Tempest is getting aggressive beforehand. That's a Stormbolt on Jaina. Poik uses the water elemental, zoning out Sign. Now JPL and Snitch looking to strike. He used Blessed Shield, but he's going to dive out in time.
Oh, the Entomb, they were not quite ready for that to be a thing. I mean, you could see that Snitch was in that bush, so they knew that Muradin was there, which is why we saw JPL, instead of peeling back, ended up just going forward because they were going to counter-aggress into them, and it ended up working out in favor of Dignitas, at least for the moment. But a couple of heroics used on the side of Dignitas is going to force out a little bit of caution here, I think, as they're going to concede a little bit of control over to Tempest.
Again, all the low ones, though. They didn't use Stay Wellness, and X-Strike's still there. Dignitas invade to get a turret. They already have one. So they can push back into this, having the 32% and Tempest taking over the point for the moment. This didn't quite work out in Dignitas' favor last time. However, the fact that they were able to defend so well shows that Team Dignitas have a very good understanding of the situation around control points, and I expect them to get back in here and fight. Yo, Sign's diving super aggressively, though.
Yeah, I don't know if this is where you want to fight. Zelia trying to walk back into position. That was an overextension, to say the least. Entomb is available. Let's see if Dami is going to get locked down. The turret is there. That's going to be Dami. Dami falls. There's going to be reset number 1. Snitch has another one. Should be able to find it. We did see Jaina fall in the meantime. X-Strike, 2 for 2 trade so far, Gilly.
X marks the spot as Hyde goes down. Good chase down, slowed down, can't get away. One final shield, is it enough? It doesn't seem like it. Wubby chasing him seals the deal. A 3 for 2 in Dignitas' favor.
Now they've got to go back up top. They will have Deckard available in just a few seconds. And as you pointed to out in the early part of the game, both Johanna and Leoric, with their level 1 talents, do have a self-heal available to them. As we will take maybe a second look. Nah, we'll save that for later.
Tempest do not want to start staggered deaths here. They have the lead in percentages and still relatively short cooldown timers for the respawn of Tempest. The bigger issue is that Earthquake was used pretty late in that fight, as was Archon, so they're going to be down some heroic abilities. We'll see if they can get back into this point, because Dignitas has taken a significant lead in experience.
There we go. Bless Shield's going to lock it down. Tassadar already used the dimensional shift out, Gilly. That's going to be an insta-kill there against Tempest.
Well done by Wubby. These entombs over the wall are paying off in dividends, or very close to.
Trying to return some damage, but dimensional shifting through that felt a little bit forced, and Wubby's like, wait a minute, this is free, and he just laid that down. Tassadar unable to make it through, but the insane follow-up that we had between the Swift Strike and the Blessed Shield just capitalized on that.
No Tassadar for 4 seconds, and that was exactly what Dignitas needed to certify a Triglav Protector in their favor. 16 to 15, they'll march forward and start taking down some structures, opening up the map. We'll see what they want to do past that, though. Tempest are going to respond in kind with a Wubby kill. The siege toward the bottom.
Yeah, they're going to siege, but this is not a trade you want to make. I can guarantee you that much, as that Protector will outpush basically everything that you have. This Protector is so insanely strong, as it's already gone through the fort. Now it's working towards this bot lane keep wall. That is going to warrant a response from the members of Tempest here, with the wall going down. Lead. Wait a minute, hold up.
Does he have Swift Strike?
That might be just... the shield was just a tad bit too late. I don't even know if it would have mattered. We got a trade. It looked cool, but I don't know if that's a trade you normally want to make.
It's a bit unfortunate, but does keep Tempest second guessing, right? Keeps them on their toes. That Protector and the trade for bottom, it was a necessary trade for Tempest, because they needed to get 16 somewhere before they defended. Otherwise, could have been losing more and more stagger deaths. And though they did lose 1, they got 16, they got back, and they kept their keep alive. Dignitas is getting a lot done with this Protector, though, because not only did they get the keep towers to the top, a little bit of damage there, but they've been able to do some to this bottom lane. And taking out the well there, where we know the next control point is going to be, may prove problematic for Tempest later on. Also, the sheer amount of experience advantage is why we see Tempest getting so aggressive. But Sign, the rest of the team is not here. That was a Blessed Shield. The team was in the back, and now Sign has fallen.
And now it looks like more is going to come into play, as Tempest, they're not willing to back down just yet, as a lot of heroics are going to be used. Blizzard in return, warping out before that root hits, but Sign, we know him to be aggressive. I don't think he's used to being punched back, because that hurt, and that was all on Poik to try and set that up. We'll see if Wubby can make something happen. There it is, Gilly.
He has Earthquake if Good wants it, but they're fighting already without. He does. He drops it in the Purification Salvo, but so much was used there to keep people alive. Poik had the Ice Block. Dami went in for the point kill and sacrifices his life instead. Stagger deaths abound for Tempest.
That is just way too much control for Dignitas. And Gilly, this game went from bad to worse for Tempest because now Dignitas is going to have the opportunity to take down this fort, soften up this bot lane, and then they'll be able to play the 20-tier advantage on this battleground to make sure and get that protector and potentially end game. But Gilly, I got to remind everybody, it was just yesterday, Dignitas versus Fnatic. Dignitas almost let it slip through their hands. See how this plays out and if they can play around that 20 control and just dominate this game.
Tempest have got to slow their roll right now. They cannot keep being aggressive the way that they've been. They fought with just Sign, follow-up from Hyde 2, the rest of the team not there just yet, but they were desperate. You can feel the pressure that Dignitas is putting on them, potentially the crowd, you know, being in Dignitas's favor putting on them. But for Tempest to be able to win this series and get a rematch versus Gen G, they need to be the same kind of controlled team that they were versus Tempo Storm when they 3-0'd them.
Right now, they're off to a good start here in game number 3, trying to take their first series lead as they did drop game number 1 against Tempest, but they seem to have been finding their stride since about midway through Cursed Hollow, Gilly, and they are not letting up. And with 20-tier advantage, you know, the same way we saw Tempest push that bot lane to get that wall to get 16, they're going to need to find structures again to find some way back into this game, but there is no chance that they get to 20 in time before that protector's up. So they might just get desperate and look for the fight right away.
We have known Korean teams to do just that. That will be a route on lockdown, but it was toward the tip of the triangle.
That top fort will fall, netting them a decent amount of experience. It should fall over time, but Dignitas, here we go.
He can't warp out of that. Phoenix is gone in the blink of an eye.
Oh, right. I think I blinked and missed it, Gilly. That was insane follow-up there. The minute that wall goes down, they found an opportunity and they capitalized. And again, right now, Gilly, for Tempest, it just seems like this might be one of the most impossible comebacks. And for Dignitas, they are looking to close it out here in game number 3.
Tempest give the keep, shielding it for a moment's respite until it goes down. A control point beyond this that Team Dignitas can freely pick up. Tempest still have a level and a half until they have 20 for the Unconquered Spirit, for maybe Earthen Shields or Wind Rush, for some of these defensive abilities, because the burst of Team Dignitas seems far too much. I don't think we have seen a single stay a while and listen this whole game. That's how much threat Dignitas has put on a Tempest. And remember, Tempest got the first Triglav Protector. Dignitas were willing to give that up because they knew how to defend against it.
JPL going to empower the minions. I think they got to be careful of overstaying here. We saw Tempest, they were feigning a backdoor on the side of Dignitas, not necessarily to end the game, but to try and get that structure damage, try and get that keep down and race towards 20. That fort's going to help here in just a moment, but they might, again, try and work towards that. That camp is still there. We'll see the response, but 73% and counting for Dignitas. All they need is a protector to go down that bot lane and run towards that core.
The clock is ticking.
Yeah.
They need to hurry. There is no keep standing between Dignitas and the core. They have to get 20 from this, and they have to get home.
Getting 20 is a start, but I don't know if it's enough of one.
Think it is.
Because a protector at this point of the game, the success rate of a protector ending, and we have double turret, and Dignitas, they've been on this. They have to take the fight away from the core, and they are doing just that. JPL peeling back around as Sign goes in, Gilly.
Yeah, this protector's going to pack a punch. The team of Tempest is separated, locked on with the Archon. Taking the core, 3 people buried alive from Wabi as he keeps them from getting under this protector. And Dignitas is far too much for Tempest as they rip this core apart. Team Dignitas go up 2-1.
Dominant fashion in the middle of the game once again, Gilly, despite giving up the first protector and knowing how strong that first protector is to claiming a lead in this game and then not relenting. Dignitas, as you can see, their fans are very happy about their performance in the last 2 games.
I don't know if it felt like that game.
JPL can't keep his glasses on, he's too excited.
If it gave false confidence to Tempest, that they had more because they got that protector, but the minute it started taking massive damage from the poke of Team Dignitas, and Dignitas with that control, that discipline that we have known from this team for so long but have been hoping to see throughout part 2, and especially here when we looked at the group stages, we finally started to see that yesterday, and it's amazing to see it continue forward into this series.
Well, the discipline there on the side of Tempest, when one went down, we've seen this before, they tried to force it and tried to force it. I think they just overextended on a couple of moments. They need to show some discipline if they want to get back into this series, because one more game and they're out. But Dignitas looking very strong so far. So we'll send it back over to the panel so they can break down this exciting game number 3 in Dignitas' favor.
That's right, 2-1 at the moment, a powerful pick coming out from Team Dignitas, going to Volskaya and showing really strong mastery of the map overall.
I believe in Dignitas because I feel that for Tempest there's the pressure, and I think for me personally this series is over. Unless Dignitas really screws up the next draft, Tempest has this in their head now and they're currently thinking again, oh my god, it's only one game. They're not thinking about winning, they're thinking about not losing, and I don't think that's enough.
Wolf, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that the pressure is certainly going to mount here. You know, this is a fiery crowd we've got out there, and they want Dignitas to win, and Dignitas is winning, right? And we saw a lot of misplays, a lot of overextensions in that game by Team Tempest. I'm going to highlight some of them as we go into some of these replays. So, you know, let's pause it here, right? So you can see there's a retreat here. Everyone knows this moment. Retreat for Dignitas. Roll it forward. We're going to see Sign gets aggressive. He's mounted. And look at Poik. Pause it. Look at Poik. He's split off. Azalea and crew are going up this way. He comes this way. Sign sees. Everyone's had this moment as Murden where you think, okay, I could kill this Jaina 1v1. But it's not a 1v1, right? He sees him. There's the split off. They use this movement to go up, but Azalea does not. Or excuse me, Jaina does not. So look at where the rest of Tempest is on the minimap. Too far away to support. As he roll it forward, he just pops the water elemental, turns this around, and so much damage coming out from Northern Exposure here, and he's just getting burst down. Hyde comes over, he's trying to help, but everybody else on Tempest is just way too far away. So Sign clearly not communicating with his team well here, hoping he can get a solo kill. It's not going to happen. So as you roll it forward, you can see what happens. Slow coming through here, all that extra damage coming out, the negative 75 armor reduction, and then he is blown up. And Burst is the name of the game here for Team Dignitas. Once again, I want to watch this moment now too, as we see one time when Phoenix gets caught out of position, it's just chain stunned and blown up. Look at where Dami is right now. The Blessed Shield's going to come out from JPL. He's the star here. Watch this. Moving forward, Dami comes in, overextends to get his Q. Pause it here. He's stunned. Look at this situation. No one could save him. Or they're all out here. Shield's not going to save you in this moment. Phoenix doesn't have that much health. Look at what Dignitas is going to do. They're just going to make him disappear like they're magicians. Roll it forward slowly, and you can see all the damage come through. Look at all the armor reduction. I can't even circle it fast enough. You've got Northern Exposure. You have the ability to do 200% more damage here with Deckard Cain as well. And it's just the moments like this where you overextend, you get out of position for just 1 second. And I think that further highlights how powerful the burst is and how much Dignitas you know, has a momentum favor towards them. Tempest making some small mistakes here and there, and Dignitas playing with those mistakes.
Some of the dynamics that Deckard Cain brings to the game